Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and being a producer of Wrestle Massacre as well as Inside Movies Galore, I am David Streggy, and welcome to Delusions of Grandeur. Enjoy the reviews. I certainly did.
Okay, Dave, that's it. Screw you and your college flunkies. I've had enough of this from you and from everyone else. I know what you guys are trying to do. Break me down, drive me out of the force. Well, it's going to take a hell of a lot more than a lame prank like this to get Curtis Mooney to throw in his badge, so fuck you. Over.
Did you miss me? I guess not.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another review here on Delusions of Grandeur. My name is David Streggy, and here I am going to go on about Alfred Hitchcock's 1964 film, Marnie, which I just so happen to have on this lovely little set called the Alfred Hitchcock Masterpiece Collection. Now, I had never seen this movie before. Maybe I've seen bits and pieces of it, but maybe I've never put it 1 and 2, 1 plus 1 is 2 together about certain scenes. And this film is the second film that Tippi Hedren was in. The first being The Birds. And we have Tippi Hedren playing Marnie Edgar Rutland. What's interesting is that she uses several different names, and I guess here's a little synopsis of the film before I go into what I think the film is about. So, Mark marries Marnie, although she is a habitual thief and has serious psychological problems, and tries to help her confront and resolve them. So, in the very beginning of this film, we are made aware of a young woman who has stolen money from a previous bank and has been taken under the wing of another bank on the insistence of Mark Rutland, who was played by Sean Connery, and knowing that she was actually going to steal money from the bank to begin with, he ultimately blackmails Marnie into marrying him, and finds out that she has some psychological problems that he wants to help her face. And it turns out that it's not only something that has to do and deal with her mother, it has something to do with something she's blocked out for like years because it was so traumatic. And, she was just a child at the time. And anytime Marnie sees red, she goes into like this state of like paranoia or whatnot. It really bothers her, and also the touch of men. She's never been able to be touched by men, and so it's really more of a psychological thriller. And there's a moment in the film I will never forget, where apparently there's a group of people who are out hunting with horses and foxes, and she runs away from one of the uh, young women that seems, because there's a young woman who evidently has feelings for Mark, but he never reciprocates them, and she tries to instigate herself into the situation because she's jealous, and she doesn't realize that there are more problems going on inside Marnie's brain than there were at first possible. So she runs away on a horse, and the horse gets seriously injured, so she goes and actually shoots the horse. And this instigates some psychological drama within her head about certain stuff. So I thought that part was interesting. And then, of course, there were moments that Sean Connery had Tippi Hedren on a ship, and they had quite some time together, and it seemed like they had gotten somewhat used to each other. And he ultimately tracks down her mother, and makes her and her mother face the situation that happened years ago, because I think it traumatized the young woman to the various extents, to the point where it has kind of stopped her from moving forward in any relationship whatsoever. And to be able to understand what really went on at the time, especially since her mother used to turn tricks for a living. And I'm sorry if I have some spoilers for this of the film, but just kind of wanted to reminisce about it. And I think because of the things that were happening behind the scenes with Tippi Hedren and Alfred Hitchcock at the time, at least according to Tippi Hedren, is the fact that Alfred Hitchcock had become quite obsessed with Tippi Hedren, and supposedly it had come down to a point in time where he demanded sex from her, and she denied him that, and he basically told her that he would ruin her in film business after this film. And having to deal with that on the onset, especially with a man so revered as a filmmaker. I mean, I know speaking out about it and being the only one who spoke out about it. I've seen interviews with her involved with her talking about it, and she doesn't sound like she's talking out of her ass. I mean, she actually sounds like she's telling the truth. And she's been talking about it since day one. It's just no one would listen. So um, I know that there are some people who really don't care, but in the sense of Me Too, kind of kind of a thing. I think that something very much probably went on behind the scenes to Tippy and towards Tippy, um, to make her speak so strongly out on it. And some people say that it was only after Alfred Hitchcock died that she started speaking out on it. Uh, I don't think that was entirely um, the gist of it. I think she's been speaking out. It's just, you know, it's hard to get people to listen when certain people are put on pedestals. And it's not that I don't like Alfred Hitchcock or anything like that. Um, Alfred Hitchcock, from what I understand, was a very good director. He was just as cinematically powerful as Stanley Kubrick was. And the way I look at how Alfred Hitchcock treated Tippi Hedren, it could have been just as demanding as the role that Stanley Kubrick had with his Shelley Duvall in The Shining, where Shelley Duvall actually spoke out about her physical abuse that she endured under the tutelage of Stanley Kubrick. And a lot of directors, especially mainstream directors, think of their actors and actresses as property, especially when they're under contract. So it was interesting, and I think that that for the time, if Alfred Hitchcock had done any obsessive sexual advances towards Tippi Hedren, it kind of helped her get into the to the roles that she did at the time, and it played into everything. Now, from what I understand, she is the only one that has had something done to her over the state of 2 films. So I don't know what to think about that, ladies and gentlemen. But from what I understand, Tippi Hedren is very vehement on what happened behind the scenes, and what you believe is up to you. So, but I enjoyed watching this film. It was an interesting breakdown of character, from thief to basically the reason why she was a thief was because of this childhood trauma that had to be, brought up and faced. And I don't think the character of Marnie really knew the whole story. So I think Mark Rutland, making her face her demons, so to speak, is kind of the main point of the film. So there were definitely some interesting camera movements involved in the film. I liked the way that the flashback of her as has a little girl with her mother um, was cut together, um, and I think having the ability to be suggestive in nature of what entirely happened, instead of showing that a little girl was raped in any way, shape, or form. It was more on the on the suggestive factor that it did happen. It's hard to talk about things like that, and as a man, having not raped anyone before myself, um, it's definitely a touchy subject for many people. And I would imagine that any a woman going through any kind of feelings like this, it would be traumatic, especially later in life. In any case, hopefully you enjoyed my description of this film. Like and subscribe to my page if you have not. Definitely check out some of my other reviews. I definitely look forward to sharing with you my thoughts and my feelings on some of these films. I mean, this film had some very controversial subject matter, and that's one thing that Alfred Hitchcock is very good at, pulling out and stripping down the basics of a story. So, in any case, thank you for listening. Have a great day, evening, or morning, wherever you are. Appreciate your time spent here. And look out for other reviews. Hopefully you enjoyed listening to my ramble. Thank you.
You were good, kid, real good. But as long as I'm around, you'll always be second best, see?